If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
In the market for new or used guns, look no further than Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun. Whether you want to buy, sell, or trade, we got you covered. While you're here, check out our large selection of jewelry. We offer gold, silver, diamond, and beautiful estate jewelry. Looking for electronics? We have almost anything you can think of. We always carry new and used guns, so come here first and shop with a local business you can trust. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun, serving you for over 25 years. 443-1668, 2552 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount.
Welcome to the K-Files. Good morning, Lyndall.
Good morning. You're wearing a jacket.
I am, and I'm freezing.
It's not cold in here.
You know, I said this morning, 29 degrees did not feel like 29 to me, though. I don't know. It wasn't cold like I was expecting it to hit me in the face.
Since last winter, I bought a house and moved out of the trap that I was in.
Yes.
And so I had some good heat, so it felt nice.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad for you. Anybody needs heat in this weather.
Last couple of winters, I was man. You're talking about you could see the basement through the floorboards.
Right.
Well, okay.
Let's mention our sponsors real quick. Thank you to Statewide Insurance Group, Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun, and Carolina Wiring for the sponsorship of this show. And Lyndall, we sent out a press release.
Right. You weren't going to put me on the spot until...
Well, no. I mean, I'm just happy and overjoyed
Absolutely.
that we had a press release and we made our first payout.
We sure did. We're gonna detail that at the beginning of the next segment.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that the system is working.
Yes.
And I think there's going to be a lot more to come. And as I've said several times, that it's not going to be instant or easy, but it is going to happen. We're going to talk about, in the next segment, we're going to talk about Cheryl Watson. Lieutenant Seaman with the police department is here.
He is in the house.
I've got a picture of Cheryl Watson's mother holding her picture right there. That was a story that I did with the Telegram back in 2016. The photographer who took that picture, named Allison, she is now working for the paper in Winston-Salem.
Wow.
Based partly on that picture. So
it is a great picture.
Yeah.
What a shot.
I was writing about unsolved murders for the Telegram back then.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned several times before that finding family members sometimes is like looking for a missing person in and of itself.
Right.
And I had gotten, I don't know whether it was through voter registration, there was somewhere I had gotten where I thought that Cheryl's mom lived. And so I went there several times and left information and everything. And finally got that person there like, well, we don't know, have no idea who you're talking about, you know. And I remember I was running up on deadline for that story, and I was just really getting, I usually do pretty good with deadlines, but I mean, I was really cutting close. And on a lark, I just went by the old house, which maybe I should have started there first, who knows, but Cheryl's mom was there in the same house that she lived in back in 91, Lieutenant, is that right? 91. Yeah, so, I mean, the mother was living in the same house that she was living in over in Rocky Mount, back when her daughter was killed. So we're going to get into all of that next segment. But, I wanted to show that picture because when we're going to start talking about Linda Lawrence here for a few minutes.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about photographs, news articles. And one of the first things that I do is, there's Linda Lawrence. She walked away from a swimming pool in 96. Hasn't been seen since, you know. One of the first things that I do when we start doing these is go back and look at old news articles. And the library is a really good source for that. Braswell Library has a really good system in place now. They've taken all of the telegrams that, you used to have to look at them on microfilm with the machine. They've taken all those and putting those on an internal database there at the library. So you can go and sit down at a computer terminal and type in a keyword, and it'll give you every newspaper for 100 years that keyword's in. So things are a lot easier now than they were when I first started. And the reason I like to look at newspaper articles for a couple reasons. And one reason is that you find out a lot of information that's long since forgotten. And the other thing is that you can, like we talked about in the Travis Lynch case. Travis Lynch was supposedly at his girlfriend's house in Middlesex.
Yes.
And he disappeared, and that's what the original news articles say.
Right.
But the original news articles were based on information given by his girlfriend, right? And authorities are now convinced that the girlfriend is a suspect who's failed 2 polygraphs. And she, there's no indication really that he was ever at her house.
I did not know that.
Right.
She failed 2 polygraphs?
So there's no indication that he was ever at her house, right? So the original news article, actually, just because of the time period, both of those articles. So do we have the original news article? Is that one? Did I turn that in? I hope so. Maybe not. If they don't, I guess not. I thought I had it up there. I thought I had it for folks to see. I'll have it next week.
Okay.
I thought I had it this week, but anyway, the original news article was written by J. I'm gonna get his name right. I'm not gonna get his name right. Yeah, I am. J. Edward. Okay, so J. Eric Eckert, right? He was a newspaper reporter here. You remember him? He was a newspaper reporter. He writes for Carolina Magazine and stuff like that now. He's moved up the ladder. But he was a news reporter back here for the Linda Lawrence case, and he was a newspaper here for the Travis Lynch case. And I talked to him about the Travis Lynch case just recently. I haven't talked to him about the Linda Lawrence case. But the interesting thing about the Linda Lawrence case is whether she was ever at that swimming pool or not. And we have
makes you wonder.
Pretty much one witness who was her roommate.
Yes.
Who was the manager of the pool, the Meadowbrook pool.
Who still works at the pool.
Who still works at the pool, right? I went as of a year or so ago. I went by there. She still works she's still the manager of the pool. And, she says that Linda borrowed her truck and drove away and never came back. And I've got some questions about that. In that article that that Eric Eckert wrote. He quoted Wayne Sears. You remember him, Lieutenant? I'm sure you do. He quoted him in the newspaper saying something is amiss. Now, you don't get good quotes like that anymore.
Wow.
Something is amiss is what Wayne Sears had to say about this case. And so what we've got is the vehicle, the truck was a black and gray. Some people say black and silver, depending on who you're where you're reading that. It was a full-size Ford pickup truck. It was found in Meadowbrook Park. If Meadowbrook Park sounds familiar, that's because there was just a homicide here this week, and that was where a man that police identified as Tavares Lynch was found dead inside his vehicle where he'd been shot on Bedford Road, which is next to the park. So that's probably why people are here in Meadowbrook Park. If you know anything about Tavares Lynch murder, there's the phone number right there to call. So they find this truck, and in the newspaper article it says that there was no evidence of foul play found in the truck, right? Well, I've spoken to a retired police detective who worked this case, and the no evidence of foul play in reality translates into that the truck was completely wiped down of fingerprints, completely, just completely cleaned out, as they say. So that's kind of what, right? That's what I want to concentrate. That's where we're at today on this case. And like I said, there's a lot of moving parts that we'll get into as the weeks go by. But supposedly, the story is Linda's at the swimming pool. Mm-hmm. She borrows her friend's truck to go to the store. She never comes back. A week later, they find the truck at Meadowbrook Park, right? Yes. So, again, just based on my experiences that I've had in 20 years of doing this, sometimes the original story is told by people who have reason to tell their version of the story.
Well, we know that she was an addict, correct?
Right, she was.
So it sounds like she might have met someone to pick up.
Right, and we will get into some of the suspects in this next week.
Oh, we have suspects?
Yeah, and we'll talk about, what exactly transpired there. Again, I want to stress that J. Eric Eckert is a great reporter.
Oh, yes.
He was.
To say he was.
I've leaned a lot on what he's done here. Mm-hmm. In my time at the Telegram, I had to go back and look at a lot of his stories. But reporters, they only report what they're told. And,
reporters are weird.
Yeah, I know they are.
They are.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't.
Well, I found that most.
You can't talk to them.
Well, I found that most reporters. No, I found that most reporters are. I found that most reporters are weirder than me, which is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is weird because I'm kind of a weird person. But I've known a lot of reporters over the years. Joe Miller stands out of my mind. He worked briefly at the Telegram. Then I worked with him down at the Daily News in Jacksonville. He was. He's a weird person. And there are a lot of I don't know, it's actually Forbes magazine has listed news reporter as the worst job in America year after year for about 5 years now. The suicide rate is really high. There's no money involved in it anymore. There used to be a time when there was money involved, but there's no money in the news business anymore. It's stressful hours, it's long hours, it's little pay, it's constant deadlines. Things are a little better for me now that I'm at the Enterprise, as opposed to, it's the first weekly paper I've worked at in 15 years. Right. But for 15 years, I had a deadline every day. I had to turn in a story every day for 15 years. That kind of, after a while,
that can be stressful. It can be, but I didn't mean to change the subject. But
well, anyway, there really is no subject. We're all over the place. Linda
Lawrence, we've talked about for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll continue. piquing your interest with this because, and if anybody, again, in the Linda Lawrence case or any case, 406-6736, we do pay out. We
Right.
absolutely do.
And I got a little homework assignment for folks this week.
Okay?
I want people to start thinking about the news that they get and the sources that the news comes from, because news is only as good as the sources.
That's right.
So in a lot of times in these cases, we have to consider where we're getting the news from. Mm-hmm. So where we're getting the information from, and who is a good witness today is tomorrow's suspect.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yep.
Well, anyway, don't forget that it is not upon conviction. You do not have to wait. If you turn your tip in and it becomes, something comes to fruition with that, then we will pay out. We work with local law enforcement, Nash, Edgecombe, Halifax, Wilson, Rocky Mount, work with all law enforcement. So we are credible. We have a nonprofit team cold case, so that handles the money. We have a board of directors that votes after talking to law enforcement on how much money the tip was worth. So we are a legitimate organization that are legitimately trying to solve cases in our area, because we have quite a few.
Yep. We'll be back.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
In the market for new or used guns, look no further than Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun. Whether you want to buy, sell, or trade, we got you covered. While you're here, check out our large selection of jewelry. We offer gold, silver, diamond, and beautiful estate jewelry. Looking for electronics? We have almost anything you can think of. We always carry new and used guns, so come here first and shop with a local business you can trust. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun, serving you for over 25 years. 443-1668, 2552 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount.
Hello, folks. My name is Lindell. This is Lieutenant Seifman.
Good morning.
With the Rocky Mount Police Department. Good morning, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're getting to be a regular here. This is third, fourth time?
I feel welcome here.
Yeah, well, good. We're going to talk about a case that I wrote a lot about when I worked at the Telegram. To me, it's a tragic case, and at the same time, an intriguing case, and that is Cheryl Watson. You're going to kind of fill us in on some of the details, and hopefully there's people out there that know about this case. So hopefully we can get somebody to call.
Hopefully we reach the right people this morning, and
Right.
they're able to give us the one piece of information that we may need to solve this
Absolutely.
case. Cheryl Denise Watson, born in 1966, was 25 years old on April 10th of 1991. A city worker reporting to work at the cemetery spotted a partially clothed body near one of the grave sites and called the police. And we began our investigation at that point. She worked at Tex 5 Blends for 5 years, and it was a kind of a shock to the community because she wasn't known for any kind of trouble. She was known as a good person in the neighborhood. So,
Right.
we tracked down numerous leads. We followed up interviews. They ran maybe a dozen polygraphs during the time frame. I heard y'all talking about polygraphs on the earlier segment, and just still haven't quite crossed that threshold to get to somebody that we can charge with this crime. So we're here seeking the public's assistance with any information. There was a baseball or softball game going on at the ball field there in Meadowbrook Park, in the area, and Eastern Avenue Park. and somebody there may have seen something. We received a tip that there was a male and a female seen walking through the park, or through the cemetery by someone that was at that ball game. And I just don't know that we ever got everybody that we could possibly reach that was there or driving through, because that was earlier in the evening. It was reported somewhere around 7 or 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, somewhere along in that area.
Right.
So, hopefully somebody saw something, and we have several ways that we can be reached. We have the hotline, the 252-406-6736. We also have our text-a-tip. If you text RMPOL and then your tip to 274-637, we get that directly, and I've spoken about text-a-tip before. That text-a-tip is 100% anonymous. There's no way we can track the information back, but we can have two-way conversations over the text via email. So it does help us out. If you give us information and we reply back to you, we can get clarifying questions and things like that. So please, if you have any information in this case, we need you to come forward and give us that little bit that we need.
Sure, and we're going to get right back to that, but we brought up first segment, so I wanted to kind of cover it. Y'all have charged Cameron Fox with first-degree murder.
He is charged with first-degree murder.
In a case where the Team Cold case provided information to y'all that y'all used, along with everything, obviously it's a totality of the investigation. No one's trying to take credit for what y'all do, but Ronaldo Wesson was assaulted on October 25th, and that turned into a murder when he died in the hospital.
Correct. He was severely beaten and succumbed to his wounds the following day.
Right.
And we received the tip through Team Cold case, and it panned out.
Right.
We were able to use that tip and develop.
Fantastic. So folks, it works. You call in anonymous, you make money, and you do a good thing. So, back to the Watson case, that was 91, right?
Yes, April 10th of 1991.
So, there's we're so far back, we're talking no cell phone cameras, no,
Right.
You know what I mean? No surveillance cameras. This was a time when, certainly not in the cemetery there.
No, I'm imagining the delay from him seeing her laying there and going back to the office there in the cemetery and calling 911 on a landline, because cell phones weren't around back then. So yeah, that's.
And there was I've been over there several times looking at it, and it is what was the name of the park again with the
Eastern Avenue Park?
Yeah, because and hey, Rocky Mountain, to its credit, Rocky Mountain has like 100.
We have quite a few parks.
Yeah, so it's getting them mixed up. Rocky Mountain has so many parks, which is a good thing.
I tried to find an aerial view of the park from back then, because there was a ball field there, a baseball field, but it's just a basketball courts there now. So.
Okay, so yeah, so so that park is like right next to the cemetery. It's like right there. Yeah, they could even share the same parking lot if they wanted to.
Yes, you could go to the parking lot for the park to
right.
In the
So what this kind of case reaching so far back, and it's not the oldest case that y'all have, but it's pretty old.
Right.
You need you've got, like you said, you've got some suspects.
Correct.
What you need somebody that is sitting on information that maybe they didn't realize was important.
Right.
To come forward and tell you what they saw. So this is one of those cases where you've got stuff. You're just looking.
We just need more stuff.
Right, more stuff.
Right.
How technical we get nowadays. We got stuff. We need more stuff.
But this case was pre-DNA.
Right.
So we couldn't just take swabs and send them off to the lab and get DNA from the cases. So that's been a hindrance. The
thing that really struck me about the Cheryl Watson case is like I said, I talked to her mother. Her mother's really sad. This has just destroyed her life. And the more or less the tombstone there where she died. That was the murder weapon. They more or less
yes.
beat her against the tombstone until she died. right? I mean, am I correct in saying?
That's without any other information.
Right.
That's the.
I mean, so you see the picture there. I mean, so basically, I mean, whoever did this to her hit her head on the tombstone until she died. So I mean, that's pretty. That's pretty bad. Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, that's a good word for it. I mean, it is tragic, and in these cases, I mean, these are the kind of ones that I would really like to solve. I take any victim is a victim to me.
Correct.
You know, and I know you feel the same way, but I'm just saying that this girl. Like you said, I mean, she had worked at that job for a long time, and she was going to school, I think, to be a nurse. She was trying to. So I mean, it's like, you know, here's a woman that was trying, and then to get attacked like this, you know, it's a sad thing. So hopefully somebody will come forward with information that can help in this case, and that would be. That would be great. I mean, this case kind of. I was telling Sandra earlier about how I was looking for a mom and I finally found her.
Right.
And that day that I did, my wife happened to be with me. She's a full-time librarian now, so she don't get to play adventure with me like she used to. But she used to tag along with me sometimes. Okay. Probably for lunch, really, to be honest with you. But anyway, I had her with me today that I finally found Miss Watson and got to talk to her. And so she invited us both into her house, and we went in and sat down and talked to her. And you know, I will remember this case for that because my wife was there and talked to her, and just the rough life that this poor woman has had. That her daughter's killed so long ago. Right. She's lived with it all this time, and you know, she's in tears telling me that she knows that people know who did it, and they just won't say anything.
Right.
And that's what goes back to the general is always harping on me about is the rule of law, and that citizens need to come forward. You know, citizens need you can't do your job without people helping. You know, you can't do your job without the public.
Right.
And so the public on these cases, it's just time for the public to step forward and
hope
do
that
their
somebody
part.
does step forward.
Absolutely. Well, Lieutenant, I appreciate. I always like you coming here because you bring crime scene photos and you bring pictures I've never seen that picture of Cheryl before. You know, it's this job don't ever get no easier. I'll tell you that. You know, I know you've seen a whole lot more than I have in your time. So I think you said in between the breaks that you started right around the Linda Lawrence case. So that had been what, 96?
I started in 95.
95. Okay. So you've been here a long time.
I have
seen a lot of stuff. How long have you been in investigations like this?
This is my third stint in investigations. I was a detective sergeant, and I'm a detective lieutenant. So over half my career has been in CID.
Wow. It can be a rewarding job sometimes and
keep you up at nights other times.
Yes, sir. I understand that. I certainly do. Well, we are going to go ahead and take our break, and we will be back. I got some good programming news for folks that they want to stay tuned to hear about what we've got coming up in the coming weeks. And Lieutenant, I do appreciate your time, sir, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I know it's part of the job, but you've always put effort into it, and I appreciate that. And I think in December, you're due back in December, right? The third week in December. Can we go over the cases that we've done together in December?
We can.
And then that way we can start off the new year with, another case or whatever. But I'd kind of like to, I'm kind of using December as kind of a wrap-up situation. We've been doing this show since June, and we've got our own wrap-up to do, but I kind of wanted to see if we can't run down those cases again.
We can do it.
That'll give you a month to You can't say I put you on the spot. I asked you a month
Talking
ahead.
about the ones I've already done, I can talk about those. It's the ones that I got to refresh myself.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I'm asking you. I mean, because we've got poor Sammy that got shot at his store, and all the ones that the guy that got killed on his bicycle. I mean, we've got. Just want to go over those and let people, because what a publisher told me a long time ago about newspapers. You have to always put that background information in every story, because it's the first time somebody's read it.
Correct.
So I just like to go over, as we're picking up audience, every week we have a slightly larger audience than we did the week before, so I'd like to go over that.
Hopefully we'll pick up steam with the first tip paying off.
Absolutely. That's what I'm hoping for. Well, sir, I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me
And we will be back in a minute. Is that right? Are we going? Are we going? Are we done? Are we clear?
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
In the market for new or used guns, look no further than Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun. Whether you want to buy, sell, or trade, we got you covered. While you're here, check out our large selection of jewelry. We offer gold, silver, diamond, and beautiful estate jewelry. Looking for electronics? We have almost anything you can think of. We always carry new and used guns, so come here first and shop with a local business you can trust. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun, serving you for over 25 years. 443-1668, 2552 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount.
Okay, well, that was good. Lieutenant Seaman has, given us the third week in the month, every month, and
Yeah, him and
that's
Captain.
how we work with law enforcement.
Him and Captain Staten, who somehow got his name misspelled in the press release that we put out.
Dear.
It's spelled two different ways. I will blame.
Well, his is a hard name to spell. I told him that before.
I will blame someone else on that. I don't know who wrote that. Anyway. The police department has been great.
Yeah,
through
they've
this
been
whole
great.
thing.
Sheriff's departments have been great.
Absolutely.
We got to get Lieutenant Muse back over here, but he works a different shift.
The case that we were going to do with him, and then he had to get pulled because his partner got sick. That's going to be a good one, and it's going to be a real eye opener for people.
Yeah.
Because I didn't when we were sitting in the when we were sitting in the meeting and he mentioned that case, I was what I thought I was wrong for years. So
and
I can't wait.
That was what case? Tell everybody.
Well, no, I don't want. I can't want to tell everybody.
You don't want to tell them what case?
No, I don't want to tell them what case.
Tell them detail.
No, because.
Well, it'll be a surprise.
Yes, because.
Linda likes this element of surprise.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I think that's Lieutenant Muse's place.
It is.
So. Anyway, folks, that's going to be a good one. That is going to be a really good one when that happens. I promised some programming notes. And I do have those. Mm-hmm. We will not have a show on Thanksgiving.
That's right. We're going to let everybody be with their families. How about that?
Sorry about that.
Your immediate family, though.
Right.
That's all.
Wow.
You're a testament to that.
No, I'm not going. I don't really. Me and my brothers and sisters don't get like each other, so.
Oh.
All right, so.
That's probably a good thing right now.
Okay, so we are not having a show on Thanksgiving, but on December 3rd and December 10th, I got 2 packed shows to make up for.
Oh, wow. Right? Yes, you do.
On December 3rd, Angela Height will be here to talk about the Racial Justice Act. She was going to be on earlier in the year, and she had to call out, but she's going to be here on December 3rd. She's got some extremely interesting information on the Racial Justice Act. A lot of people don't know what that is. It sounds good on the surface, but we're going to get into exactly what it is.
Okay.
And then on December 10th, with a drum roll, Fighting Crime will be here live on the air.
Really?
Stepping out
People
from the shadows.
Be able to see what she looks like?
That's right. Stepping out from the shadows. We had a deal that when we started this back in June, I made her a promise that when we helped solve a murder, that she had to be on the show.
Right.
And it was really easy to say okay back then because it seemed like it was a long way off, but it didn't take
But
as
it
long as we
happened.
thought. Right. So she will be here on December 10th. We're going to talk about how she got started in this, what we do and all of that, and how, what she's done. I mean, she has helped solve, now we're not, she has helped solve murders before. We're not talking about murders, but all crimes.
Right.
It's getting close to 1,000 now.
Right.
So, that's significant. And I can't wait for folks to hear her story, how she got from here to there. Okay, I got a picture of the graveyard from the Cheryl Watson case, if you'll pull that up.
Well, I know exactly. That's Pineview Cemetery.
Right.
That's Pineview Cemetery.
No, not that one. The one, the map. There you go. Okay. That is where her body was found.
Number 30.
Number 30, lot number 30. It's right across from the old office. So if you remember when Lieutenant Seifman said that the woman found the body, then had to go back and call on the phone and say there's a body laying out here in the graveyard. I just wanted folks, I had this laying around from when I wrote about it before. I just wanted the people. Can you show the other map that shows the whole cemetery? So
Do they think it's any relevance to number 30?
No, that's just
It's just
that's
where
just
the
where
location
right.
happened to
That's
be.
just where he just where he decided to attack.
Decided to attack. Okay.
And so there's the overall graveyard, and you can see the streets, and like where the park is
it's a
down
very
there.
old
So
cemetery.
right, and right out there on Raleigh Road, and it's
Beside
been there.
Eastern Avenue Park,
Yeah, it's
which
been there a
used
long
to be
time.
a baseball field, one of the bigger baseball,
Right.
they used to.
Okay, so thank you very much
Yes.
for getting those maps straight. I really I messed the picture up this week because I thought I put the one in the newspaper and I didn't. So we're going to show that next week because
Okay.
I want people to see that original newspaper article.
So that was Cheryl Watson,
Right.
and this happened back in 1991.
Right, at the cemetery there. Okay, so the last thing that I've got written down to talk about, and then we'll get into, see what kind of trouble we can get into, is we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Tammy Grady's disappearance.
Yes.
And she disappeared in Wilson.
Wilson.
Right.
Left the Heart of Wilson Hotel.
Right, and in a cab.
In a cab.
And the cab driver doesn't remember where he dropped her off.
Doesn't have a clue where he dropped her off.
Right. All right. So Tammy's sister, who I've interviewed for this show a couple times already, she's holding a tribute to her sister Sunday at 4:30 at I don't know if folks at home can see. That's the screenshot of the Facebook page. I just wanted people to see that there's people interested in people going. So this tribute will be at Toys Not. I'm sure I mispronounced that.
Park.
Toys Not Park.
Yes.
In Wilson, Sunday at 4:30. So, folks, if you're in Wilson, you want to show support to Tammy Grady, that would be a good time to do that. I talked to Tammy Grady's sister, and she's gonna be one of the ones who do this. She said, what can I do to make sure that no one forgets my sister? And I said, you have to keep it in the news. You have to find ways to keep making news out of it. So whether it's vigils or prayers or, like she's doing this celebration in the park, whatever, this tribute in the park, whatever you can do
Right.
to keep it in the news.
Yes.
You do that, and you also, you bother police. You call them all the time. What's up with my missing persons case? What are you doing? So you have to keep a constant pressure.
Yes.
My original publisher wasn't my first. One of my early public newspaper publishers, Lockwood Phillips. He's in the radio game. I don't know if you've ever come across him or not. He's about as cheap as a person can be, right? I mean,
Right.
he is cheap. I'm talking about cheap.
Wow.
he had this thing, and I always remember him using his hands like this and pushing. You know, like when we were kids, you push your hands together. He used to always say, you have to keep steady pressure on authorities, right? You just have to. Whatever.
That's right.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? I mean,
That's
you
right.
have
That's
to.
what they say.
You have to keep a steady, polite pressure on the authorities in these cases, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
Because they have crime stacking up, regardless of what department it is. There's going to be new crimes coming in, and they have to worry about the new stuff. So, folks, if you've got a missing person, a long-term missing person, or if you've got a murder that is in your family that hasn't been solved, you have to keep the pressure on the authorities.
Sure.
So
Yes, you
that's
do.
it. Two-step processes. Keep the pressure, steady, polite pressure on authorities, and keep it in the news however you can. I
Yes.
mean, I don't know why, but newspapers love anniversary stories for some reason. They won't write about a missing person who's been missing for 9 months, but they'll write about them when they've been missing for a year. You know,
Right.
they won't write about
That's
an
right.
unsolved murder at 9 years, but they'll write about it
see
at 10
that
years.
so much in
I
the
don't-
paper.
Right. I don't know, but anyway, use that opportunity to get those stories in the paper when it use the anniversary opportunity. Always push it to newspapers. A lot of people. I remember one time when I was writing for the Star News, and someone called me and they said, "Why was the FBI at my neighbor's house yesterday?" And I was like, I have no idea that the FBI was even there. Maybe you should have called me yesterday, and maybe I'd know. But people just tend to think that news agencies know everything.
Oh, they do. I get calls all the time. I figured you would know, so.
Right, and we only know what
need
people.
your help in finding out.
Exactly. News agencies. I work for a newspaper. You work here at the TV station. We only know what people tell us.
Right.
We go out. We do our investigative bit, but we have to have somewhere to start.
That's right.
And so if be like Tammy Grady's sister, folks, and take it upon yourself to not give up.
Right.
Because if you give up, there was a local police, a high-ranking local police official that was a very controversial quote in the newspaper several years ago, where he said, "If the family doesn't care, why should we?"
Well, that says a lot. It says a lot, because that's the truth.
Absolutely. So folks, if you've got a missing person, if you've got an unsolved murder in your family, don't give up.
That's right.
Be a pain in law enforcement and the news media side.
Now, how many, and I know we don't have these figures with us this morning, but about, let's say we've got 3 or 4 in, and I hope everybody appreciates the job Jeff Sherrod did with Randy Colgrove last week. Excellent job. He detailed so much of it.
Right.
So anyway, Sheriff's Department's got 3 or 4. Police Department's got, there's 50 some, and then Edgecombe has got.
And Edgecomb's, if you count the 7 Bridges Road cases, they've probably got 10 or 12 or
Yeah,
so.
and so I don't know how many Wilson's got, but look how many missing, look how many missing persons and.
Those numbers are just unsolved murders. Missing people is probably
unsolved
incalculable.
murders, and look at all of this in our area. That's the reason we're doing this.
Right.
Our numbers are high. I'm telling you, our numbers are high. The counties are not, but the city is kind of high.
Well, I mean,
We're trying to
like I
work
was going
towards
to be fair to the city, they count every case that they can possibly find. They're going back to the 70s.
True.
Now, a lot of times when sheriffs come in, they'll kind of restart the clock because there are some older cases that I'm aware of in the counties that aren't really being counted. So I mean,
and that
I just want to be fair to everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
if you've got one agency that counts everything and other agencies that only count some things, and I'm not knocking the sheriff's office or trying to make the police department look any better. I'm just telling you as it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
and more crimes happen in cities than counties. It's just a fact. That's just a fact. You know, in the
That's right.
cities, the population and just the way it is.
That's
It's
right.
just
But
the way it is.
the fact that Nash County, Edgecombe County, and Rocky Mount Police Department jumped at this Team Cold case thing.
They did.
Said, you know, they want to solve
It
these crimes.
says they want to solve the crime.
Right.
They're
I mean,
trying.
there's-
They need your help.
A lot of times I get folks say that, oh, well, you know, Rocky Mount doesn't want to, you know, they don't care about these crimes or whatever. I mean, what a bunch of garbage.
Right.
You know, I mean, that, you know, these guys, being a homicide detective, being a cop at all really is a calling, right? There's
It's
not a lot of
gotta
money in it.
be.
We were talking about newspaper
I
reporters
sure would
early.
be one.
They don't do this for the money.
No, they
Right.
can't.
So, there's a lot that is, there's a lot, we're gonna talk about next week in the Linda Lawrence case. A lot of times cops have what they think is enough. But the district attorney's office doesn't wanna follow through with it because they're looking for home runs instead of triples. you
That's
know?
right.
And sometimes, sometimes you just have to go for it.
It's
You
got to
know,
be
so-
disheartening to law enforcement to just hit a stumbling block when they get to the DA's office, or they get, I mean,
Right.
it's got to be very disheartening,
and
because
that's-
they risk their life to go out there and make the arrest. Think
And that's
about it.
and that's not just
Nothing
not
happens.
just, you know, Robert Evans is the DA for Nash, Edgecombe, and
Right.
Wilson counties, and I know Robert Evans. I've sat down with him and talked before. I mean, I think he does. I think he does what he can do, but every district attorney's office that I've been in contact with all over eastern North Carolina, folks, I've been very careful to limit my experience over the last 25 years, 20-something years to eastern North Carolina, right? I mean,
Right.
that's where I've worked at. Every district attorney's office is the same thing, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, it's the same thing. They're looking for a case that they know
Right.
that they can get a conviction in.
Yep.
So it is frustrating for cops who have a case that they want to take a swing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not very good at sports, but the only sport that I do like is baseball. So I got the analogy there that you've got a batter that wants to take the swing,
That's right.
and the district attorney's office only wants to get up to the plate if they know they can get a home run.
Yep, that's
So that
exactly
complicates
right.
things. So my final thought of the day is, and I'll probably get in some trouble with people over this, I'm sure, but a lot of these unsolved murders, the cops have put the work in, and they have a suspect. And we haven't moved forward with it because sometimes the district attorney's office, whoever it is,
Right.
doesn't want to move forward with it. So that's the case on a lot of these unsolved murders. Just statistically speaking, out of all the unsolved murders that we have, a lot of them are really solved. We're just not going to go to court with them. So
That's right. Well, we got to go.
See you later,
Another-
folks.
Another K-Files in the can.
Yes,
Glad you watched.
next week is Thanksgiving, right?
It is, and the following week, we will not be here next week. The following week, we want to hear from you
Right.
about the suspects in the Linda Lawrence case.
Yep.
All right?
Thank
Thank
you,
you
folks.
for watching.
If you recently lost your job and your health coverage due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and you think you may be eligible for Medicare, you probably have more questions than answers right now. Statewide Insurers Group, All Things Medicare, can help you with that. We can provide the guidance and the answers that you need to get the benefits you may be eligible for. Don't let this time of uncertainty jeopardize your eligibility for your Medicare benefits. Remember, relationships matter. Call Statewide Insurers Group today for the answers that you need now. 316-8166.
In the market for new or used guns, look no further than Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun. Whether you want to buy, sell, or trade, we got you covered. While you're here, check out our large selection of jewelry. We offer gold, silver, diamond, and beautiful estate jewelry. Looking for electronics? We have almost anything you can think of. We always carry new and used guns, so come here first and shop with a local business you can trust. Carolina Jewelry Pawn and Gun, serving you for over 25 years. 443-1668, 2552 Sunset Avenue, Rocky Mount.